Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Core Idea, everybody. Happy Friday. We made it through another work week. How's everybody feeling? Well, today we're going to jump straight into the Friday series of Feel Good Friday. And I know I originally posted about it being called Fun Friday, but as the boss, I can do what I want. So now it's called Feel Good Friday. And what I want to jump into straight away is, I've been feeling very reflective, very grateful, very just in the moment of just being an observer and taking in things around me that are happening and controlling the things that I can and letting go of the things that I cannot. After I had a rough day the other day, I came home, and as I was going to bed, I put on a movie. Then that movie was the animated family-friendly movie David on Netflix. It is just like, obviously, the biblical story of David and Goliath. Okay, and when I watched that, I know some people will hear, oh, the book of David, or, and they might not want to watch it because it's automatically dubbed as a religious film or what have you. But when I watched it, I noticed some parallels between spirituality and, religion, right? And I think that is a beautiful thing when you're able to witness, the side, there's more than one side to a story, right? That's what we've all been told, time and time again. But in this movie, it really, really spoke to my soul because when I look at Goliath, right, and everybody knows this story mostly, so if I say, well, David and Goliath, I'm not spoiling anything, right? So Goliath is this big giant, and David is tasked to, take him down. But David feels like he's not enough, and he says, I'm just a shepherd. And immediately they pour life back into David, and they say, David, the people, they're lost. They need a shepherd. That's exactly what they need. And so David starts to, believe in himself and things like that. And for me, it was like there was a mirror put up, and I was looking at myself again because I am on this new journey with the podcast and everything, right? And I appreciate those who are subscribed and are following me and supporting me, sharing my stuff. It's been a great, uplifting, and reassuring thing for me. But what I was going to say is that with David, right, I have had my own fair share of doubts and things like that, especially when it comes to the podcast, because I'm not like everybody else. I'm not Jason and Travis Kelce, right? My podcast, there's no new news here, but you know what I mean? The truth is that we are, we are all like David, right? We all have fought our own Goliath, so to speak. My personal Goliaths were addiction, you know, uh, body dysmorphia, things like that. Just not feeling as though I measure up in certain areas to other people. But to be poured back into is a beautiful thing, and those type of people are the best type of people that you could be around, to be able to find people who can just pour back into you on the days that your cup's running low. But I have gone through these things in order to lead me here today to this very moment, to be able to speak to you guys, to be able to say, this is my podcast and this is the stuff that I have learned along the way, right? Not claiming to know everything, because nobody knows everything, right? But to be able to be a vessel, that is my goal. And, we don't always like the messenger, but it's the message that counts. So I may not look like the person that you want to hear things like what I say from, right? But cause I don't hold any significant title to my knowledge. You know what I mean? But so you can't always look at the vessel and say, I don't trust that because it's the vessel, right? The message is inside. So what do they say? Like, don't shoot the messenger or what have you. Either way, my point is that I am exactly who I need to be able to have this podcast. And those on the same frequency as me, just like a radio, will be able to hear me clearly. If we're not on the same frequency, what I say may sound very staticky to you. But this story, this movie of David, from just not feeling like he's enough to being able to build up his courage, right? David is a light in the dark, which is exactly what I want to be for those who need it.
I told you.
He's brave. He is true.
No. He's so humble, too.
Come on and follow the light. All in the hearts of my people.
I have never wanted the throne.
Lies!
What happens now?
by the time you are done listening to my voice and to the video, that you feel somewhat better and at peace. Speaking of peace, shalom. Shalom means peace all around, and I think that is so beautiful. That was another thing that popped up in this David movie, right? I have always said shalom, but to be honest with you, I've said it just in a context of, Fat Amy from Pitch Perfect. Oh, that's not a real word, but keep trying. I can't do her accent. I could sometime, but not there. I didn't, but we'll just let it roll, So I have always said that, but then again, things align at the perfect time, right? And this movie said shalom and it said peace be with you, and that's been my motive this whole time.
When I feel lost and so afraid, and shadows have hid the sun away, when my heart is heavy and it's hard to pray, I remember what my mother used to say. Shalom, shalom, peace be with you wherever you go. Shalom, shalom, let this melody begin to bring you home.
Is to spread peace, to spread light, and just to be validated, even if it was from a child's movie. That is the fuel that I need to continue to keep going and know that I am aligned in my power and in my voice, and I pray that my voice continues to send out all the right waves and frequencies of love and healing and hope. Because as I said before, we are all David, and when we work together, it ain't nothing for us, right? So there's big Goliaths out there right now, but if we work on each other and work on ourselves and pour into each other, is what I meant to say. If we pour into each other, then our light will continue to grow, and the light of the world will be so bright, and it'll be so beautiful. And that is what makes me feel good this Friday. Have a lovely weekend. Spend some time with your friends, spend some time with your family, but most importantly, spend some time in nature. Love y'all.